Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode. I am JB, and of course, with me is the amazing and the mighty Mark Marsh.
Hey, everybody.
So, we've got an interesting topic today, and it's more or less a topic in two parts, but it's something that I have observed quite recently. So, for those of you that are watching this that are familiar with the channel, you may know that I did two and a half, more or less around that time scale, of seasonal work at one of the local toy stores here in the UK called The Entertainer. And it gave me some perspectives because we've spoken to no end on this channel about why we need holiday haunt. We've also spoken extensively about why we really need haunted high-rise. And I will admit, I have really neglected the mystery pups. That's the one cancelled project that I myself in my mind wrote off like it wasn't for me anyway. It wouldn't have done anything. It just would have been stupid kid stuff. Maybe we don't need it. But a few of the experiences that I've had the last couple of months that I'll get into has really opened my eyes to why mystery pups may even be more important than anyone thought. But Mark, I guess I'll pick your brain first and foremost. What is your overall opinions on mystery pups as is, and why you think it's almost been the middle child between Holiday Haunt and Haunted High Rise?
So basically the whole gimmick. It's a bit like a pup named Scooby-Doo. That because pup named Scooby was meant for little kids for that area. So I'm guessing Mystery Pups was meant to be the same equivalent to pup named Scooby-Doo in a sense. But in this day and age, it works better with animals. So what's that other dog show that had a movie?
Paw Patrol?
Paw Patrol, that's it, yeah. So it's like that. They base them on dogs to solve mysteries, but it's more aimed towards kids of like between 1 and 3, essentially.
Mm.
That's what I've learned by looking at it. Because
Um,
originally,
yeah.
when I was looking at it when it first came about, originally Mystery Pups was going to be puppets. That's what originally I was like, okay, then, not really my
Yeah,
sort
that's
of
what you
thing.
thought, yeah.
That's what I thought. Then it looks like they're doing the whole animal routine of them being animal form, which is fine. That's fair enough, but that's not really catered to like our audience, most towards kids. And now it looks like it's going to be pup named Scooby-Doo. So I feel like it's the same genre of Paw Patrol in a sense to draw the kids in, but it's going to be like what pup named Scooby-Doo was as the concept. That's the best way I could describe it
Yeah, I
between
know
the
as well,
two.
you're notoriously not really that much of a fan of a pup named Scooby-Doo, but would this show, even if it wasn't for us, in your opinion, would it have been a net good for the Scooby franchise?
See, this is a good one because I actually quite like Paw Patrol.
Mm.
this, is, um, this is weird. Yeah, I didn't like Pup Named Scooby Doo, but I like Paw Patrol. So seeing the gimmick of essentially mixing the two together, I could probably be down to watch this. Weird enough because I would find it cute and hilarious to watch, especially seeing the gangs as dog forms. That makes sense because then we can figure out what type of breed the actual gang is. But then
Yeah.
the weird thing is, though, how do you do Scooby? Because he's already a dog, so he can't really have any other persona except for his Great Dane. So it's like, but see him as like a baby form and be like a miniature Scrappy at that point.
See, I agree actually, and I think the comparison to Paw Patrol brings me perfectly on to talking about what I've seen out there. Now, there's a couple of things that I do need to preface. Now, I'm not coming into this video claiming to be an expert on demographics or toys, retail, anything like that. Now, to give a brief timescale, I'm not going to bore people with this, but this is how quick my turnaround was. So, I saw my advert for the entertainer on the 30th of September. I applied on the 2nd of October, got interviewed on the 17th of October, and I started working on the 6th of November to the 30th, clocking in a total of 28 shifts. So really, I am not an expert at all, but based on what I've seen, and this is something that really did shock me, nothing at that place sold more than both Paw Patrol and Bluey, both franchises revolving around a puppy dog or puppy dogs. So I'm thinking all it would take, could you, and those were new franchises, by the way. If we had Mystery Pups, which already brings in that Scooby-Doo fan base, we could see the Scooby-Doo franchise being where it's never been for years, as far as I'm aware, and that is in current day toy stores as one of the like the highest selling items. Like, when was the last time that would have happened? I don't think ever.
It could work, but then again, you got to understand, Mystery Pups is meant to be an educational show, so I think it might do better.
Well, I think Bluey is theoretically meant to be educational, right? Like it isn't.
Isn't Bluey the Blue Clues?
No, Blue's Clues. God,
Because
I don't think there were any Blue's
there's a
Clues.
new Blues Clues or Blues Clues Bluey, so that's what really threw me off.
No, if you Google Bluey, it's a similar dog that is blue but standing up. He's also got an orange friend. Like it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
cute, but it's educational to the point where it isn't stuff I don't think like, Bluey says that 1 plus 1 is 2.
Because
Yay,
it's
congratulate
weird.
Bluey.
Educational shows are better now than they were when we
Yeah.
were kids
Because
because
now it's
we
like
had,
storylines with
yeah,
essential messages. So say we're going to bring up a story, but within that story, it's this is how you should and shouldn't cross the road, or this is
and
how
then
you should act in a moving vehicle, like stuff
you
like
all
that.
learn a lesson at the end of the day.
And I think that's what Mystery Pups would have been like. It would have been mystery solving, but maybe along that you got an episode about team building, about friendship, and various other things. Again, we unfortunately can't see it as of yet, but I'm thinking that that would have been so good for the Scooby franchise in the long term. Again, maybe not for us, but I think just consciously in people's minds. So, say for instance, when I'm walking into a toy store and I see certain things, it instantly triggers a response. So, if I walked in without being a Scooby fan, like now, and saw Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Pop stuff, gift bags, action figures, all of that stuff, play sets, in my mind, I would go, "Oh, I remember watching Scooby-Doo as a kid. I remember watching What's New Scooby-Doo. I remember watching Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Maybe I should recheck out those things because it just adds in Scooby consciously in your mind." I
Yeah,
think that's
because
one of the main things. Like people can forget about Scooby, even in the fandom, the second they're bored of the last DTV or whatnot. But keeping Scooby always in there on the high streets, online, I
and it
think it's
opens up new
brilliant.
doors for merchandise because at least with Mystery Pups, more kids will want the toys when they go
Yes,
to
exactly.
shopping because parents will always bring their kids with shopping and they see, oh, mummy, look, there's Scooby from Mystery Pups. I want that. And then they're like, that's how they get you. Whereas if we would do our shopping, we're doing our shopping, we ain't got time for toys. So our mind's elsewhere. But with the market towards kids, it would sell more at the toys. It's a bit like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They started out as toys and then became a series. So they did the whole reverse thing, and then they
And
built up their
Turtles did
sales.
sell quite well,
Yeah,
I know that they did just recently
they
have
started as
their
toys,
movie
then they
this year,
created a
last year.
series, and now they do the series and the toys back to back.
Well, see, that's interesting because I know that some titans of shows ratings wise, like Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends back in the day, was cancelled because it wasn't selling enough toys.
Yeah,
And stuff like Ben 10, it was popular, like with Foster's Home, but that was also kept on air for quite a long time because of the potential for selling toys. And like with Mystery Put,
and they're
I think
still
you hit the
selling
nail on
Ben
the
10
head
toys
there.
now.
Exactly. And I didn't even think about this. But if Mystery Pup sells, like Paw Patrol stuff sells and Bluey stuff sells, as you say, then every Scooby-Doo plushie won't just be a Scooby-Doo plushie. For the kids, it will be a Mystery Pups
Yeah,
plushie, which is just, and as bad as this is to say, I know it was a bit better with the Entertainer because they've got those exclusive board games and DIY sets, but also the last toy in circulation is the Scoob stuff, which was a divisive movie. I have fun with it, but it was divisive. And so just to have that cleared out a bit, I think would be good. Because I don't think a lot of Scoob stuff will sell now, but mystery pup stuff.
If they do mystery pups and then use the sales to fund the series, I think it would do well. And it could be like Ben 10 was a big hit
Yeah,
because it
'cause
has
they were
it's
wanting to go
basically
that
just
way,
aimed
surely.
for kids, but more kids are watching TV now.
Yeah.
They're on their phones, their smartphones, they're on every system. But back when a pup named Scooby-Doo was out, we didn't have tablets, we didn't have a smartphone, we didn't have computers, we didn't have none of that. We had an Argos catalogue, and that was it. And then going shopping with our mums, being annoying, saying, "I want that, I want that, I want that." Whereas now the market's changed, where if they did release mystery pups, it would dominate the market because every kid will see it on their smartphones, the tablets, out shopping with mum, on the TV. And once they see it, they'll be drawn to it because looking at how it looks, it's definitely is catered towards young audiences.
But
So
also, one thing,
definitely,
and I hate to cut you off, but one thing that I think is underrated, say if we had kids tomorrow, right? Obviously not us two together because we're close, but we're not that close. But say if we both had kids separately and they wanted Paw Patrol stuff or Bluey stuff, stuff that I know you've watched Paw Patrol, but stuff that we maybe didn't grow up with, it would be a bit like, how do I make sure this is safe and appropriate for my kids? I'm gonna have to watch X amount of episodes, or I'm gonna have to go on like online and see if there's any like iffy content. Whereas if we had kids tomorrow and mystery pup stuff, or kids wanted to watch it, wanted to buy merch for it, it's, oh, I know Scooby-Doo. That's safe. That's a
yeah,
safe show. I used to watch that as a kid. So I'm gonna let them watch it and buy merch for it. I'm gonna get them merch for it. Like it's just brand trust, like reliability in that we know it's safe, but
yeah. It's
without even needing to research,
I
really.
I I I still miss the good old days where there was adult humor in cartoons
Yeah, I
because
mean,
because as a
I'll never
kid,
be against that.
as a kid, it was like you wouldn't understand the meanings behind majority of them. But it's when you come back as an adult and you're like, oh my god, I can't believe that was in a kid show that I used
Mm,
to watch. That's the most nostalgic thing. It's just like I would love that. Like if it was a show, if I had a kid and then there was adult humor in there, I'd be like, yeah, okay, I understand what it is, but my kid don't. But he's gonna come back one day as an adult and rewatch that and be like, ah,
yeah, there's like a
I now
notorious
know.
scene from What's New Scooby-Doo, like the
It's
Halloween episode where this woman's like to Fred, oh, I've just turned 18, which means that I'm legally allowed to, and then there's like a really long pause, vote. Like just stuff like that. Just a bit of snark that maybe we've lost now. But yeah, I mean that's my thing. Like Holiday Haunt, I think would have made a lot of money if not the year it came out, because of the nature of it being seasonal. The fact that you can bank on sales every year, I think that would have been great. Haunted High Rise, I think would have been incredibly popular with audiences. Would have done a lot of goodwill for the reputation of Scooby after the Velma series. But Mystery Pups, because I initially thought that that wasn't for me, and I was sad for the team when it got shelved or cancelled or whatever. Like, I don't think we've had a last update on it yet, but I felt sorry for the team, obviously. But I was a bit like, I wasn't going to watch that, and I wouldn't know what good it would have done for the franchise. But after seeing how well the Paw Patrol and Bluey stuff sold, how quickly there was a need to get all of that stuff in stock, and because Scooby-Doo is already a franchise name, I can't help but feel like that may do the best money for
this was a
Warner
gold
Brothers.
mine that they could have capitalized on, but they decided not to. I think the reason why they wanted to not do it is because it was on HBO Max, and I feel like that would have
Honestly, yeah.
I feel like having an educational show on HBO Max defeats the whole purpose of it being a educational show. I think they went to their
Because just logging into
normal,
HBO Max just
yeah,
kills brain cells instinctively.
and then you get all the other shows as well. It's like it's not really meant for kids, HBO Max, so it's the worst place to put a kids show. I think that's where it tanked.
I think they did have a deal with Cartoonito, but I don't know if that's global because that's my
Is that
main
what
thing.
Cartoon Network is now?
I don't. I think it may be what Nick Jr. is to Nickelodeon.
Okay.
Maybe I don't. I have not looked into it, but that was my main thing. If it was just on HBO Max, don't bother. Like even if it's great, great for kids, just don't bother because
If they
unless
bring
it's
this
got that
back,
worldwide appeal, don't think it's gonna work. But if it's on Cartoon Network or Cartoonito, Nick Jr., wherever, and it can be seen across the world essentially, then they've got something. And I think they did have that in mind. Ironically, looking at it now, I think this may have been the Warner Brothers management team at their very best because by making the rest of the gang puppies, they didn't just make them puppies, they made them merch. They made them plushies, key rings, action figures. Like, that's what they did. Now you can get a Daphne puppy plush toy, an action figure, a gift bag. That's what the change was. Because initially I didn't like that they were making the gang puppies, and maybe now I still wouldn't in practice, but now I can see they were merchandising every single member of the gang, which now I would argue for kids nowadays, I don't think they would buy a Fred toy just like that.
they wouldn't. But the weird thing is, I'm on IMDb, and for some weird reason, Mystery Pups has a rating of 6.3. Someone from the future, obviously, seen this and given it a rating. It's got 17 ratings. I don't understand how.
17.
17 ratings. I'm like, who's rating this? Which future tech are you using? Please tell me. I must know. There's like five people giving it 1 star, one person giving it a 5 star, three people giving it 7 stars, one gave it 8, one gave it 9, six gave it 10. I'm like, what the hell? They're all from the United States.
Are there any verified reviews, or is it just stars? No
Just
one's written
star
anything.
ratings. No one's really read anything.
That is so bizarre.
That is the most weirdest thing. You shouldn't be able to rate something that hasn't been released yet.
That's why like IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes are just they're a decent idea, but they're not by any means an exact metric of a thing's quality. One thing I'm curious about though is how widespread Peppa Pig is, because that also sold like hotcakes. But if I'm like criticizing Mystery Pups, if it was just for the US, then I can't really. I have to take that back if Peppa Pig's only in the UK, because that also sold incredibly well. It probably wouldn't in the US, but if it
I was
sells
surprised
regionally,
with Peppa Pig because if you told me, oh, I'm going to do a show about some pigs having normal day lives, I'd be like, you're insane. That's not going to be a good hit. Now I'm like, fuck, that is a really good idea. Wish I had something like that
Mhm.
because it works.
But yeah, I mean, maybe a bit of a tangent topic, but I just feel like with the experience that I've had, albeit like I've mapped out very limited experience, I just see mystery pups in a whole different light now. That for once, a marketing team actually sat down and thought sensibly, we have one profitable character in terms of merch, which is Scooby, who we have used to make the same type of plushies year in, year out, and they probably do well. But how do we expand? How do we become competitors in the toy market? Well, we have established characters like Fred, Daphne, Velma, but are people going to buy them? Maybe not, unless they do a collaboration with Barbie or whatever. But the fact is, they made every single one of those merchandise. They made them profitable. And you don't need to be the title character to sell that. Like the orange dog sold, I think, just as well as Bluey himself. And I don't, is there a main person in Paw Patrol? I know there's Chase, but we sold Chase stuff, Sky stuff. I think there was a Rubble. Like all of those cast of characters did sell. And so it's like they actually had a good idea. It wasn't for me, but they had a good idea, and it just doesn't come to fruition now, which is sad. But yeah, I guess in summary, I mean, what do you think to that? Do you reckon I've just gone on a tangent, I'm ranting and raving, and there's not anything within the Paw Patrol sales, Bluey sales that could have transferred over to Mystery Pups, or do you think that what we've actually kind of glossed over for the last couple of months was maybe one of the biggest missed opportunities of the Scooby franchise?
Well, they definitely have missed an opportunity because considering, I agree with you, they probably spent more work on Mystery Pups than any other project so far. But they, because to get education's team involved means you got to have a lot of people on board to make sure at least you're aiming for what you're going for, especially when it's educational. It goes, you can't really skip hoops with that. Like so many people will be on you if you do decide that. So I feel like they put all that time, money, and effort, the team involved in doing it, to the point where there's finalized art and everything just to cancel. I feel like it's a golden opportunity that they missed. They could still bring it back. There's still an opportunity, but can't be on HBO. There has to be on some sort of Cartoon Network type of thing where everyone can access it. It's like Cartoon Network, Boomerang, to make it at least more worldwide, because then at least then it opens up a more profit margin. The only thing is, so like people would buy the merch, but it's like how much of that will they be getting in sales? Like, are they just aiming for sale margins on the merch to keep the series going, or are they going for some sort of sponsors to bring up the sales? Because at the moment, it's all just like hearsay, but seeing all the others, like especially with Ben 10, Bluey, and Paw Patrol and all that, they still sell merch. Ben 10, I don't think there's no series on Ben 10 no more, but they're just repeats, but they still sell the merch because it's, you tell a kid who Ben 10 is, they know who Ben 10 is. And I've been watching Ben 10 when I was a kid, so it's still ongoing now. But you try and tell a kid who Kim Possible is, and they won't have a clue. That's how strong an impact Ben 10 has, because it has a franchise that's been built up. They
But
still
also,
sell
apart from
merchandise.
Kim and Ron, there's not really any merchandisable characters there. I guess Rufus. But that's the thing, like, there's franchises that stay alive are the ones that you can make merch out of, 9 times out of 10.
And so whether or not the merch is good as well. It's like I guess with Scooby Doo, there's a lot to work with. The villains, the monsters, the gang, the side characters. You got all, and you can also get the mystery houses and all that. They build together, trap houses and stuff like that. So you have the potential of getting all that. So if they did do mystery pups and done the marketing team right, they could definitely increase their sales. More kids will be seeing mystery pups. They'll be seeing the merch. I'm like, oh, I want to watch that. And then you have the DVD sales as well.
Yeah, I
So,
think
I
literally
reckon
they could
it's a
copy
golden
the formula.
opportunity. It's a golden opportunity which they missed, and it's stupid that it's been shelved or cancelled, whichever one Warner Bros. Want to do. But having it just for HBO is
Wrong
stupid.
move.
It's such a bad one. Once you put on HBO, I think it limits the. That means two things. One, it's never going to get a physical release, and two, it's not going to be accessed worldwide. Which means people like us will have to go online and watch it.
Well, more importantly,
Yeah, yeah.
parents and kids are going to have to go online to watch it. And why would they do that when Paw
We're going to
Patrol's
bring
on
back the
TV?
piracy videos they
Bluey's
put
on
back in
TV.
DVDs. You wouldn't steal a purse. You wouldn't steal a car. You wouldn't pirate a DVD online. Unless it's on HBO, then go ahead.
Like, that's the thing. Like, parents aren't going to jump through hoops so they can watch something. Like, yeah, if they want to watch stuff like that, then they've got a winning formula, and that's the thing. That's what I see, just a winning formula. Go into any retailer if you're watching this that sells toys, and imagine all the Bluey stuff and all the Paw Patrol stuff as Scooby-Doo stuff. And I don't think any Scooby fan would be mad at that. That's a resurgence, and I hope that it comes to pass. But yeah, I guess this has been a bit of a tangent topic. I do want to elaborate on some things a little bit more somewhere down the line in a more specific video. But for the time being, Mark, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on my social media accounts on Twitter at iGodsLuigi, Instagram at MarkMarsh94, and I'm on Twitch now, so you can watch me streaming at iGodsLuigi.
That is incredible. We'll leave that in the description down below. If you do want to see more from us, then please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.